Hello and welcome. And we have with us Rishad Tobaccowala, Senior Advisor to the Publicis Groupe. Let's decode the future of strategy, creativity, and the soul of marketing with him. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Are we, in your view, entering an AI illusion where speed and scale are mistaken for impact and meaning?
So what I do believe is that a lot of people believe that AI is a strategy, which it isn't, and a lot of people believe AI is going to be a differentiator for a company, which I have, as I said in my talk, not going to be true. It's going to be like electricity. You're not going to be able to operate without it, but itself is not going to be the differentiator. The differentiator actually is going to be things as I poured out, which is the ones you built out, which is whether it's impact or inventiveness or ingenuity. So it's going to be AI plus HI, but HI is not necessarily human intelligence. It's human ingenuity, human stuff, and hopefully not human illusion. As you rightly like to speak. But part of the world and the reason the world works the way it does and makes marketing interesting is because we traffic also in illusions. We tell ourselves stories, and those are in some ways illusions.
So, how should today's CMO kind of reset their compass?
So I think the CMOs today have to do four different things. The first thing that they have to do is they themselves have to embrace AI personally by using it, then figure out how they adapt what they do and how do they complement. That's number one. Second is, as they currently are doing, they need to find ways to make their current businesses more efficient and effective by starting with an AI first mentality. But the other is, how do they reimagine their business? Which is, if they had AI today, would their business look the same? Because the important part is not to take your existing model and make it AI. You should think about how AI can change your business model. The third one is, as leaders, they have to learn how to basically lead differently. Because we're going to basically work in a world that today, I think, requires less management and more influence, less classical music, more improvisation like jazz. So they're going to have to learn to, obviously, management, which is still important, which is about allocating, delegating, measuring, and monitoring, is going to have to be significantly supplemented with things like mentoring, guiding, building, and creating. That's the third one. And the fourth one, which is the hardest one, is they're going to have to retool their entire companies for the future of work, which is what my new book is, which is, in the future, we're going to have work but very few jobs. So start thinking about how to both manage your own career and a company, where more and more of the work in your company will be done by people distributed who are not your full-time employees.
So, you've spoken about the importance of balance between the story and the spreadsheet.
Yes.
If you could just unpack it a bit and tell us, how does that balance look in practice today?
So the way the balance looks today in practice is the data basically helps you do a few things. It helps you identify both audiences or people you want to talk to and what's the most cost effective way to reach them. And it provides you sometimes with some insights about what makes them tick. What the data does not do is come up with the active imagination, inventiveness, or idea. Okay? Today, it comes up with stimulants to inventiveness, ideas, and right. So I would always say, you can ask a machine to create a campaign for you. It will, but even I can create a better campaign. But you first let it create a campaign, and then using that, you create a better campaign. So when I wrote my book, I started by trying to get each of the chapters to be written by AI. I queried it so it could write the whole chapter. I read the chapter, put it on the side, and I started writing. I didn't use any of that outside of as a stimulant. So that's what I think the reality of it is. So the reality of it is, the balance is going to basically be 60, 70, 80% of the hard work is going to basically have to be done by the machines. And then 60, 70% of the creative work is going to be done by the people. So remember, there was this entire thing. It's 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. That's what Thomas Edison said. So I believe it's going to be 80% perspiration, 20% inspiration. But the 20% inspiration is going to be the thing that's going to actually make the difference, because almost all the perspiration will be done by machines, and everybody will have the same machines.
So my next question is kind of connected to it. What are the most underrated skills in marketing today? And what should we be prioritizing when it comes to grooming the next generation of CMOs?
So I would basically say the first and most important, there's 6 skills I mentioned. If I were to rank order them or weight them, one stands most important. And that is what I call cognition, which is somebody who has the ability to continuously learn and reinvent themselves. Or I call it upgrading your mental operating system. Because if you give me somebody who's continuously learning and upgrading themselves, I know I can find a way to keep them relevant. The second and third are curiosity and creativity, which are very important to our business. Fourth, fifth, and sixth is, as a leader, you've got to be very good at convincing your teams, convincing your customers. That's storytelling. You need to be very, very good at collaborating, because in this world, we're going to be collaborating across companies and countries. And finally, you have to be very good at communication skills, particularly writing and speaking, because that is also very important. So what tends to happen is you look at a very good leader. Those are the things that are important. Now, there's a characteristic trait that I think will be important in the future of leaders. And my book basically points that characteristic traits are trust and integrity. And I'm now increasingly believing that trust is trust, which is what you get when you talk to somebody and you believe that. Integrity is when you combine, and I've been focusing a lot on integrity. And integrity, the best definition for me for integrity is when what you say, what you believe, and what you do are the same thing. Okay? And increasingly, I'm seeing a lot of leaders in the world who have now basically become inauthentic. They basically say one thing, do another thing, and behave a third way, and they're losing their companies, right? So they might say in America, we believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. They have a little bit of pressure. They say, no, we don't believe in that anymore. That's not integrity. That's not a form of leadership. So integrity is, you say, doesn't mean you can't change your mind. Like, if I don't believe, let's say, I believe the world is flat, and I'm behaving and I'm telling people the world is flat, then someone shows me that the world isn't flat, then I'll behave differently. But I'll still be a person of integrity, because what I say, what I believe, and what I tell will be the same. I won't say, I believe the world is flat, but I'm going to pretend it's round, or I'm going to pretend. That's what too many people do. So I think a big part, I would basically say, is character, which would be my 7th C, and that would be trust and integrity.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your views.
Thank you very much.
It was lovely having a conversation with you.
Fantastic.